home. It's been recording for the last, like,
have you been
10
seriously
minutes.
sitting up here just yelling, talking to yourself?
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes, I have. I had to tell the camera my problems.
Really?
Yes.
Welcome.
Hello, everybody.
Yay. This is our vlog for The Force Awakens, episode 7, or like some of you may call it, the not good story. Okay, no, it was actually pretty good, but
Yeah, it was good.
we just got back last night. We would have actually done this vlog the night of, but we didn't get into like 1 in the morning, so we were
Yeah,
tired.
because the only 2D showing at our theater, it was at 9:45, and I can't do 3D. It fucks with my head.
Well, yeah, like 3D is
Makes
so
me feel like
pointless.
shit.
Like, ugh, I don't know. I don't want to get into that. That's another video.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're gonna give you our thoughts. We're gonna start with the positives and then the negatives. We might get into spoilers later, but we'll probably give you a warning, so don't be too scared to watch this.
Probably be a
But like honestly,
spoiler heading.
but like if you're watching
on
this,
video.
you probably
You've
would
probably
have seen the
seen it.
movie. You gotta have.
Yeah.
Anyway, but anyway, maybe you just like watching us. So,
that
if you
sounded
want,
really creepy.
yeah, well, some people do. If you want to go first,
Yeah,
then-
so
yeah.
I liked it. It was a good movie. A good Star Wars movie. But all around, I thought that the movie was good. A, B, they, you know, the humor.
It
The
was
level-
actually
level
really
of
good
humor
with humor.
was good
Like,
between, you know, they still had the old antics between Chewie and Han, but they also added in the humor with Finn and
Rey.
Rey.
yeah, I actually did like their chemistry. A lot of people believed that they were going to become a thing, like they were really going to like each other, and
I think that's coming.
well, that will come in the later sequels.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe by like the third one of these three, if they're going to go like a trilogy, they might kind of get together. But actually, you know, it's funny how he was clumsy with her at first, because you got to think this is like Finn's real first engagement
In the real world.
Well, yeah, because those stormtroopers are like, these aren't clones.
Robots. Yeah.
Disclaimer, these stormtroopers in this movie aren't clones. They're
Yeah.
actual, just breaded human beings.
They were
either
taken from birth.
Well, they
First Order
were either
stole-
taken from birth or forced birth.
Yeah.
So, I think that's what they were just going with this group.
And the same thing for Rey. I mean, she was somewhat awkward too, because other than the interaction that she had in the village on Jakku,
All those crazy aliens.
she didn't know, like when they get onto, and I can't remember the name of the planet, but where they get to Maz's place,
Yes.
and they're flying in, and she's like, holy crap, like, I didn't know there was this much green in the galaxy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, she's never seen
'Cause
anything
she's been
other
on
than the
Jakku
desert.
for her whole life.
The desert, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, you pretty much liked it throughout. Like, it wasn't like a at one part. It was good through and through.
Yeah, through
It
the
kept you
entire
in it.
movie. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, I would imagine. Well, what I thought, you can take a break. You can tell you already talked your mouth off. But anyway,
No, it's from the tea.
yeah, we had
It's
some tea
in
before
phlegm
this.
in my throat.
So what I thought, I'm kind of on the same ground as him. Like, I went into it with an open mind, so I really liked it. Like, the effects, the visuals, like, just the scenes they went to, like, the distance they went to just to recapture what was definitely more a homage to the older ones, not the newer 3 prequels. But, like, you could tell, I actually felt like with some of it, like, the aliens, it was like a mixture of like actual props and CG. Now you could probably say no, it wasn't, but to me, it was that good.
I like that they still use props. I mean, that was something that was lacking in the prequels, was that it was all CG.
Now, to be fair,
and that wasn't a bad thing.
That wasn't a bad thing, because it was Lucas's kind of first run. He was kind of getting the ropes on it and making sure he liked it. And,
but
I'm
I'm glad they went back to using
Traditional.
props for the droids and for some of the aliens, and the fact that when the Millennium Falcon was landed, so not the flying shots obviously, but when it was on the ground,
in the hangars.
It was still a prop.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It was a built set.
You could tell people were climbing up on a little step ladder to be working on the X-Wing. Yeah, it was sick.
That was awesome.
I really liked they did.
One of the other things that I really liked, and like I saw it 4 times. Last night was my 4th time seeing it.
It was my 2nd time, so yeah, he's gonna have more to say.
So, and every time going and seeing it, just the dog fights that they did with the ships were fucking awesome.
Now this is something I want to point out with the dog fights and the aerial battles, and even like some of the shots they did during that. They stuck traditional. Like when they would go into like one of the pilots, they did the classic
the cut in
cockpit camera view, and then like they didn't do overkill. Like if you remember the beginning of episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, that one opening scene where they're like in the space battle, there's just so much going on. Now, to be fair, that was
still awesome.
That was awesome, but like you could tell with these dog fights, they were really more like oriented to show you like, all right, this one's going after that guy. There's one like there wasn't too much going on for the people who couldn't like control their action in the movie. And that was the thing. Like this movie throughout the whole thing, like it kept you in the action. Like there was a lot of humor, but with that humor came with a lot of great action moments, like the explosions and just all the effects there were really well done. Like they made sure each explosion was glorious.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you thought the Death Star in the originals was like great blowing up, like just a great explosion. Man, the new one blowing up is just
beautiful. Well, and I like in that fact that Starkiller Base, when it blows up, like because it was absorbing a sun,
it became
the sun. Just
spoiler there. I mean,
there's already going to be spoilers. We're talking about the movie.
Yeah, like we already got it.
I'm not going to hide what I'm talking about. That'll just make talking difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just moved the sun.
Well,
from point A to point B.
Well, I point this out. Like, if in reality the sun actually was to be absorbed and moved slightly in the solar system, planets and everything around would be fucked.
Yeah, it totally would be.
I mean, there's a lot of continuity errors in this movie enough, but like that one alone, it's like, okay, really?
Maybe there were no planets around that one.
Well, they probably destroyed all the planets.
Probably.
Around them. Yeah, that makes sense then.
It's like, this is our sun.
And honestly, they're making the concept that there is more than one sun.
Oh, absolutely, because it's a universe. It's not just a galaxy. I mean, our galaxy just has this one sun, and with regards to stars, most of those stars could be as big as our sun. That's why we can see them.
Yeah, exactly.
Little science.
Little science for you junkies out there who like to mix it up with Star Wars.
Well, the two kind of go hand in hand, right? It's a science fiction.
Yeah.
So
just as long as you know where the fiction begins.
Yeah. Back to the dog fighting. And I'm going to bring up this scene because it's probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie. When the Resistance is coming in over the lake.
What planet is that?
I can't remember the name of the planet.
It's the green planet where they show up to
where Maz is.
Where Maz is. Is that
the
little
orange Yoda.
Yeah, she had like magnifying glasses, and it was actually funny because we watched a video prior to the movies, and it was Yahtzee's video on judging by the cover.
Yeah.
And he did a judging by the cover on The Force Awakens, and he literally made fun of her because he was like, "Who the fuck is that in the background? What is he going to contribute to the plot?"
And
well, turns out
she
was basically the Yoda of this movie. So
she was, not trained in the Force, but
she
knew the Force.
She knew it.
But yeah, that scene where Han and Chewie and Finn get captured, and then the Resistance come in.
The stormtroopers are like basically like they all kind of like looked out to the water, and they're like, "Oh shit, get into position!"
And you see the fucking X-wings flying in over the water, and it's just like
builds up, and you're like, "Oh yeah!"
It was so awesome, and then that whole scene with Poe flying through and fucking up all those TIE fighters.
We're almost done with all our positive things. I think we're gonna start delving into the bit of the negatives now.
Oh, before we go into the negatives, I did want to touch on the fact that I liked the little nuances to the original 3. When Poe is first brought onto one of the bigger First Order ships, and there's that little black mouse droid that used to follow, being on the Death Star and whatever.
I was just driving around.
Yeah, so there was that. I also liked on the Millennium Falcon when Finn was trying to help Chewie, and he's going through that bag and he's throwing shit out, and he picks out the orb that Luke trained with his lightsaber, and he just looks at it and throws it away.
That thing? Yeah.
And then the other one was after all of that, and Finn is sitting at the table, and he leans on it, and the little game comes up that R2...
What is that called, by the way? For those who are watching, can you put in the comments what that game is called? I can't for the life of me fucking remember. I can't remember.
No.
Oh, well.
But I liked those things, and, again, with the humor, and this is another...
I feel like with that humor, they were watching the original old one so much that their humor was just spot on.
And then that was a little bit of a push to the old one when Finn and Han are talking to the captain, who is the silver stormtrooper.
Oh, chick. Yeah, her, yeah. God, the trash compactor.
Yeah, that line. I love that.
Yeah.
What do we do with her?
I actually liked that story. She looked sick, by the way. Like the chrome. Like, oh, God, I want to cosplay as that. I wouldn't even care if I was like a chick character. Like,
is there a garbage chute?
Yeah,
trash compactor.
The best thing about these stormtroopers in this movie, and this is where the humor lies again, is that there's one scene where Kylo Ren is just losing his shit.
Yeah.
This is when Rey's already captured and like she got away. With another scene I gotta bring up in a little bit soon. Yeah, but there's two stormtroopers walking down the hallway. All you hear is, and like two of them are just like, yeah, let's just turn around and walk away. Like,
boss is in a bad mood.
I do not want to be the first thing the boss sees. No. Like, that's literally what these two stormtroopers were thinking. And I was just like, that's me. If I was ever working for them, like, just me walking down, and just be like,
let's not go that way.
Go to the cafeteria, grab a bite.
Yeah, let's do that. Want a drink?
Now, okay, going back to actually, I want to get this off my chest before anything else, and maybe some of you will notice it too. It's the scene just before that when Rey's basically they're making a reference to Obi-Wan's.
Oh yeah.
Want some death sticks? I don't want some death sticks.
Yeah.
This is literally.
Or these aren't the droids you're looking for.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like this is how Rey shows that she got the Force like the first time. Well, I mean that in resisting Kylo Ren's interrogation, but she literally used a joke to escape.
Yeah.
Like a reference to another movie to get out. She basically told the one stormtrooper, "Is like, you will remove me from these restraints
and leave the door open."
By the way, I thought it was fucking hilarious, but at the same time, I'm like, you're fucking kidding.
Yeah.
I was so
obviously,
in the middle ground there.
I mean, obviously she's powerful with the Force, so she's obviously going to be the next Jedi.
I just didn't know she was going to learn it so freaking easy. Like. Well, I thought there'd be more fighting for her to learn it. Like
I still don't think she's really learned.
Well, anything. She definitely got a big step into it. Like,
yeah, the stuff came to her at the time when she needed it.
Well, she also touched the lightsaber, which I think had a lot to do with that scene beforehand, before she got captured and interrogated when they took her to the First Order Death Star, whatever it's called.
So, do we want to go into negatives, or do we want... I want to mention...
If there's anything else you got to mention, now's the time, because we're going to eventually get to the ending and maybe the cons, so...
I want to mention the fact that... And this might lead into the negatives. You probably noticed the title of the heading... Or the heading... of the video. Bigger hope.
Is that we're going with that.
Because I felt, and I think you did too,
I agree.
It's literally all awesome things aside.
It's a retelling of
episode 4. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The Death Star and Starkiller Base, exact same.
The characters,
Rey starts on a planet that is a desert.
Yeah.
There is a droid that's holding, in this case, it's a map. In the old one, it's plans of the Rebel base. So like it's literally cut and paste of episode 4.
But since they did so much to change it, it actually took you like the second or third time seeing it to actually kind of... I mean, maybe to the well-trained fans, they could probably catch it with the first view or the first time watching it. But like... Honestly, you're not gonna care that it's a retelling. I mean,
it's not really a retelling. Well, it's just the same.
It's like a
framework. It's the same framework.
Well, yeah, it's got the same.
It's like plot. Abrams and Disney were too afraid to piss off the fans that they went with something that was that they knew was good and already done and solid, and they didn't want to try anything new.
Well, no.
And
they did try things new because they did so much to change the original concept. I mean, like you say, if it was a retelling of, or it was like, you know, episode of Hope or whatever, or just Star Wars, it would be, you know, it would be boring. It would, you know, the fact that they got Finn, they got Rey to like make it more swapped and bigger. This is obviously something, and I feel like this is something I want to bring up, is that this movie came out in a time period where everyone's really critical of movies, and they can find fucking racism and misogynistic we don't like doing that, but like people are ripping this movie a new asshole because they, you know, the SJWs are fucking saying this and that and the third thing. But it's like, when you move all that to the side, this movie does a great job making itself look different. That's what I'm saying. Like, it still has the same basic structure of a good plot from the old ones, but they did so much to change it that you wouldn't even notice if you weren't smart enough.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's all I'm going to say. Like, it's so different that it's, you know, you might as well just forget that. I mean, it will bother you at first. I mean, it did with him, and then
it still bothers me.
It still bothers you, so... I mean, I'm...
Mainly because...
Well, you're a bigger fan, because you knew the original, which is something he might get into in this video, where he's going to talk about how they fucked up the original canon.
Yeah.
And they could have went with this, but they didn't.
Yeah, they changed
a lot. What we just said, they went safe. Like, that's the thing, like, if you're going to do something right,
but I feel that's the exact opposite of being safe. Okay, yeah, you went safe with the framework of the story, but you changed the fundamental stuff that happens.
I bet you they didn't even
after
refer to the canon, like, to all that lore that was built years ago before this movie was made. I bet you just Lucas or Abrams and all of them were like, you know what, we're just gonna kind of start from fresh. I mean, we can't really use anything.
But why?
Because of like Harrison
they
Ford,
bought Star
all the
Wars,
actors,
right? They bought it. Why would you change what was already created and what the fans already love and would have wanted to see? Like, why change
because the
that?
SJWs? No,
that has nothing to do with it.
I know, I'm kidding.
Like, fine. No, I have to wait to say that because that won't make sense if I say that right now.
Well, we're getting off topic. We should kind of get towards what we did.
So that leads into the negatives.
You can already tell we ripped this movie a new asshole at this point. No, we didn't really.
One thing that I didn't like, aside from the changing or the keeping of the framework of the fourth one and the changing of the lore, was I didn't like Kylo Ren.
Oh my god, yes. Okay.
No, let me rephrase that. I liked him with his mask on.
Yeah. I liked him up to the point when we saw his face, because it was like, they're really
Who
just
is
gonna...
this guy?
No, even, it's just... This is something I got into a huge fucking rant about last night when we saw this again. That they could have built this up. Like,
oh yeah,
his menace was so good.
Was gone.
They had it there. The trailer did it, but then it was like not even halfway through the movie, and then he pops off his mask, and we see the emo guy before him. No offense to the actor. I mean,
no.
The guy probably had to be directed in such a way that even he felt uncomfortable with. Maybe, I don't know. I feel the same way with Rey and her lines. Like, I felt like some of the things she said just didn't come from her.
I want to know where all his hair went when he put his helmet on.
He has a lot of hair. How does that helmet like get into all that? Like, does it just fucking braided or something? It's got like a hairnet built in.
Yeah,
like
built-in hair ties.
And that's the thing. Like,
pins.
Kylo Ren is badass. Like, in the movie, you see him do quite a bit of shit that you're like, this guy's pretty cool.
Yeah, you see his face. Up until the first point where he takes his mask off.
In fact, he shouldn't even have took it off when he was interrogating Rey.
No.
And remember what I said? Every time he would have took it off, they could have like went to a
cut
shot
to the back of his head
to someone reacting to his so then we would have been like, whoa, we don't know what his face is yet. Like, this is a big build up.
Yeah.
And even if we did see this emo guy before us with the build up, maybe like we wouldn't even have saw it normal. Like with the fight with Rey and him at the end, he gets hurt. Like, he gets cut up.
She messed him up. Although so did Finn.
Yeah, so did Finn.
Finn got a hit on him.
Yeah, and with that, you know, in the next movie, he's going to be different. They're going to change his mask. He's going to finally be the broken...
Well, he left the mask.
And he left the mask on the railing where...
Yeah, after
he
kills Han!
Which is bullshit, but I feel like Harrison Ford wanted to die.
I don't think he wanted to do any more movies, to be honest.
Well, I heard rumors that he believed that he should have died in the originals. Han
really?
He should have made it past episode 6 or... whatever.
That would have made me cry.
Well, yeah, that would have been so bullshit then, too. But, I bet you the fans would have accepted it then and moved on quicker.
Maybe.
Whereas now we have this uncanon death with Han.
See, he couldn't die, though, in the original because of...
the lore that would have... But the lore would have changed. I guess. It would have still been altered and still had this canon that wasn't the Disney canon. And that's the thing, like, Disney just really has a tendency to do this. This is why I'm not a huge fan of Disney. I'm, like, in the middle ground, because this isn't the first franchise. They took a game series, Kingdom Hearts, and just made the plot so batshit confusing.
Convoluted.
No, it's the fact that, like, they try to tell a story... Like, I'm getting off topic with Kingdom Hearts, but in that, they're just telling the story of Mickey and not, like, trying to build up why the Final Fantasy characters in there. They're just there.
Yeah.
For the fans. And I'm a fan of Final Fantasy, but it's like, I don't find that pleasing because it's like, you just threw them in there. And for no continuity. With this Disney movie, you gotta really take everything you know from the canon that this guy knows. Fuck, he knows more than I do. And you gotta really brush it off and just take this movie new. It's like, imagine you never read the canon and just went into it like this. Like,
and that in a sense,
that's actually a good
if you
thing.
Push all of what I don't like aside, that's why coming into this video, I said I like the movie.
Yeah, disclaimer, we still like this movie.
It was a good movie.
We'd go see it again.
A good Star Wars movie? Yes, it was still a good Star Wars movie, but to my true fan heart, no.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
It was a little...
But I still like it.
It came up short.
I really liked it. Yeah. I'm probably putting out a lot of mixed signals because I'm like, I really liked it, but it fucking pissed me off. Yeah. But I really liked it. Yeah. So, what else didn't we like about it?
I think I just didn't like the fact that some of the shots they cut out to. I think you pointed this out. Like during the dogfight scenes, they would go. They go to like Rey in the forest, being all like,
it's like no,
the Red's chasing me down.
Go back to the dogfight. Like, I want to watch that battle.
Give me action. Oh my god! And this actually gives me a good segue because I didn't like the part with Rey, but that whole planet that they're on in that scene, that's actually one of my favorite parts of the movie because the one stormtrooper that comes out and says, "Traitor!"
Yeah,
and then he's a meme now, so I'm glad that everyone's actually accepting this movie in a way now that they're already making memes out of it. Mm-hmm. So it's being received well. So
I think it was received well. It
is being received well. It's still in theaters.
It surpassed Avatar as the biggest box office in the U.S.
To be perfectly honest, that actually wasn't that good. Avatar was just a good, colorful flick.
This isn't about Avatar.
Yeah, I keep getting Star Wars, baby.
But yeah, like, it surpassed both Avatar and the Titanic to be the top movie in the box office.
Now it's the movie to beat.
Yeah.
So at least it's got that title now, so that's pretty cool. I mean, and you know what's actually going to be interesting with this is that all the spin-offs and video games and whatever we're going to see now in the next few years.
I am excited to see where this trilogy goes.
You know what I have to say about this whole Disney thing too is that this Disney trilogy that they're doing with episodes 7, 8, and 9, even with all the miscanon, it's just a different paradox. In fact, it's so different that when you got confused when he was called Ben, like that's why the paradox.
We're gonna get into that
soon. But anyway,
we're gonna get into that. So, couple theories with regards to. Because I think the big question with this movie is, who's Rey?
Oh, God, yeah.
So, the first time
she's the hero.
The first time we went and saw it, my theory was, and this is going to touch into a little bit of the lore before I get right into that, is that her and Kylo Ren are twins. Right? They're Han and Leia's kids.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the first... That was like, okay, that's what I think after seeing the first time. I think it was definitely the third time I saw it, was when this other idea of a theory came in about who she is, and I think it's the stronger one of the two, but I think she's Luke's kid.
It most likely leans towards that because the ending
the
ending, excuse me, and that scene where she touches the goddamn lightsaber. And you see her as a kid, and you see her being dropped off of the planet. She's saying, "No, don't leave."
But not only that, not only the flashback, but when Rey finally comes back to the Elenium system where the Resistance base is, that's at the end, after Han dies, that's her first time being on that planet, right? And R2 wakes up.
He's there, by the way. He hasn't been... He was kind of, like, depressed and shut down.
Yeah, he shut down because of Luke leaving.
Yeah.
And he wakes up, I think...
Because he still was in power mode.
Yeah, he was in low power.
Yeah.
Because he sensed a Skywalker on the planet.
A Skywalker.
Skywalker. So, I think she's Luke's kid. But now, okay, that's where I'm going to get into the lore. Because, and I really don't care that they did a gender flip, but...
That's for the SJWs.
Luke's kid is a boy. Him and Mara Jade Skywalker have a son. And his name is Ben!
That's where this got confusing.
So that's why I don't understand why
they used Ben. They could have called him. They could have called Kylo Ren just someone new, and that would have saved this confusion.
Yeah,
but
they shouldn't have named him Ben because that's Luke's kid.
They could have even called him like Bill. That would have been stupid, but it would at least saved the movies.
Yeah. Or they could have stuck with the original lore and named him Jason because that is Han and Leia's
Jason.
So, to get into the actual Star Wars lore,
for you hardcore fans
after Episode 6,
a lot different shit happens.
Oh, it's so different. It's so fucking different. Leia is actually trained as a Jedi.
And she's badass.
Which is so dope. I really don't understand why they chose to do nothing with that character whatsoever.
Maybe my one obviously point is that the actress, she was obviously too old to make herself look. And I don't think they'd want to CG her fighting like a Jedi.
They still could have done it. Luke's gonna do it in the next movie. You watch.
Well, some theories say that Luke's gonna die pretty early in the beginning of the next one.
He has to train.
He looks pretty damn old.
He has to train Rey.
Yeah, but maybe
that's the only way. He's the only other Jedi. He has to train her.
He won't have a lot of time to because he's getting old.
But I still think he's going to have a fight scene. Kylo Ren will kill him.
Yeah.
Like that'll be
spoiler to the next movie.
So back to Leia's trained as a Jedi.
Yeah.
Han and Leia have 3 kids. Okay, they have a set of twins.
I think this is why they didn't go with this canon because there's too many kids.
Fuck that.
They fuck too much. For the good of the Jedi.
They have a set of twins, Jason and Gianna, boy and girl. And then they also have a younger son named Anakin.
And that's maybe another reason why they didn't do this, because the name Anakin would have been brought up, which would have created confusion to some fans. But to
really,
the ones
like, is it really that confusing?
No, I'm just saying, there are dumb people out there.
Well, that's true. So
not anyone who's watching, just...
All 3 of them get trained by Luke. There's a huge war that goes on, and again, I just looked it up before we started recording this, but I can't remember the name of the colony.
The species or colony.
Yeah, they're a warmongering creature. They're like the Van Hoos or something like that.
The Van Hoos, I like that.
Something like that.
Sounds like a game.
And they war with the Galactic Senate or whatever's been reinstated for quite a long time. And like, it's a huge war. They wipe out trillions and trillions of people and planets, and like, they fuck up a lot of shit.
And this is where Chewie dies, right?
Yeah, Chewie, that's the thing. Like, Han doesn't die.
Chewie dies!
Chewie dies. And he dies he sacrifices himself to save Anakin.
Not Skywalker, remember, this is Anakin as in Han Solo. Yes. You should make sure you mention that.
So they're on a mission on some planet, and the planet ends up blowing up. But Chewie sacrifices himself so that Anakin can get off the planet. And actually Han blames Anakin for Chewie's death. And like resents him for that.
Well, and isn't it also later on?
Because Han's a hard ass.
Like, yeah, in the actual this canon story, Han becomes more of the villain later on. Like he doesn't. Yeah, he does delve in the light and dark a lot more in the canon than he does ever in this movie. So,
after that, moving on further into that war with that species, Anakin actually dies. He's killed. And then...
What kills him?
I don't remember. He dies in a battle. He gets overwhelmed, surrounded. You know how it is typical with Jedis when they die. They get like lots of... Like in the prequels when all the droids come in. Yeah.
They take a droid blast to the knee.
Yeah. So then the Alliance wins that battle, and that species is exiled to some planet somewhere, and
we never hear from them.
Then it moves on to there's a second galactic civil war, and Han, being Corellian, sides with the Corellian.
Which, by the way, the Disney never actually mentions this, that he's Corellian. So
no, there's no mention.
No open lore for that.
Yeah. So he actually ends up fighting against his family because he goes with his people.
This would have been sick if this was sung on the movie.
Yeah.
But I don't think they would have been able to cram this into a 3-hour flick or 2.5 hour. But yeah, keep going.
I don't know. They just changed a lot. So he fights in the Galactic Civil War on the opposing side. I can't remember the turnout of that Civil War, who wins. But they go back. Like Han and Leia end up back together. They end up being like married for like 3 decades or possibly even longer. And then that's where things get interesting, or more interesting, in my opinion. Jason, the boy twin, he ends up being seduced by the dark side.
The dark side, by the way, is a very sexy being that will seduce you into banging it. I'll stop talking.
We have cookies. He gets seduced by a Sith, and I can't remember her name.
For those who are watching, you could probably put it in the comments and help us.
It is a female, I'm pretty sure.
Or it's an alien.
So he turns to the dark side and leaves home or whatever, I guess you could say. And then the person that finds out that he's turned to the dark side is Luke's wife, Mara Jade. And they have a battle, and he actually kills her.
Yeah.
So that's intense. He kills
I think another reason, and this is just something to add into all this, is that I think another reason why they just couldn't have done this is that all those new cast to make all these new characters, they would have to
they made up new characters for this one.
Well, they did, but the ones they made for this one were easy. Finn was probably fucking easy to make.
I guess.
Rey was probably easy to make.
I don't think it would have been that hard, but...
This is you, man. If you were the director, you probably could have did it.
Yeah.
Who knows, right?
He kills Luke's wife, and then there's a huge... And I can't remember the name of the war, but there's another huge war going on, and Gianna, can never remember how to pronounce it, but his sister is the one to kill him in the end. And then everything's happy again. So, despite all of that... And that's another thing that about the original lore that I like, is that despite all that fighting, and Han and Leia losing 2 sons, technically, one right away to death, pretty much.
There was more loss.
The other they lose to the dark side, and then he dies.
Yeah.
Even amongst all that, they still stay... And him being on the opposing side in the Galactic Civil War, they still stayed a strong married couple.
Despite all that.
And then in this movie, in The Force Awakens,
it's barely...
They show them as they haven't seen each other in years, and they weren't together anymore, and it's like, what?
Yeah, no. A lot of their dialogue between them, Han and Leia, it was very they were speaking in past terms. A lot had happened. They went through...
I wanted to see what happened.
They went through a lot of loss. And this is actually someone, I don't know who I was watching that made this statement, but he said, I heard someone mentioning that in the original 3 movies, the rebellion never lost anything. Just obviously
really.
casualties, but like they didn't lose a crucial person, which is odd because
except for Obi-Wan.
Oh, Obi-Wan, yeah, obviously.
And Yoda.
But yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to not include that.
Those two are pretty important.
But they're not really. But they're Jedis. They're not really a part of the rebellion. You know what I mean? They're still a big loss to the good guys. But what I mean, like even in this movie, the rebellion. The Resistance only lost...
Same name, different
They lost
name.
a legend, which was Han Solo.
Yeah.
Because he fought with the rebellion, a.k.a. Resistance. So, like... I felt like they just did a good job.
I get why they had to do that. They had to make...
They were passing on the torch.
They had to make Kylo Ren's descent into the dark side official because he killed his father. Ooh.
Actually, that scene was really good, and it was very obvious to...
Still should have kept his mask on.
Yeah, like, just, there was a lot of moments where... Oh, no, actually, no, he could have took that off, but again, maybe you could have not saw his face and just heard his voice and you could hear him in pain.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing.
Like, his voice was good even with the mask off.
That's
why he did a good job.
That's why they took the mask off, or I'm assuming that's why they took the mask
off,
is because they want to show you that he's still a human being and that
humanity.
he's being torn between the light and the dark, and he doesn't know what to do, and blah, 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 but... I think that was portrayed perfectly well when he's sitting talking to Vader's mask.
By the way, how the hell?
What do you mean?
How does that mask get? Because
it's when they cremated him in the 3rd one, or the 6th one. Sorry.
Yeah.
They cremated him on Endor. Endor? Yeah.
But wouldn't the mask not have made it out of that?
The mask is metal. I don't think the fire was that hot. That's why it looked all burnt and
it all
melted. But that scene...
was really good.
You can hear it in his voice that he's like, and he says it, I'm being torn, but I can feel the call to the light. Like, he did not need to take his mask off for us to see.
Oh, it's perfect that we're getting into this because this brings up to why I actually don't like this movie when it comes to the main villain. It's some fucking... Snoke. Who the fuck is Snoke?
What kind of name is that?
Snoke! Hey guys, look, it's snoking now!
You know what it makes me think of? Is you know that that website that debunks hoaxes? It's like Snopes or something like that? Or maybe that's a book review site. I don't know. That's what I think of when I hear Snoke. But he's a Lord of the Rings looking guy.
And it's done by the same guy who does.
Yeah, it's Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
Who did a good job. Again, he always does a good job.
No, that's the thing. When they motion cap his face...
Why?
He does a good job. He doesn't need to be in this movie.
Why? He looks more like he's out of a fantasy movie, not Star Wars.
Yeah. And you know what? We're going to see him again in the next one.
Oh, yeah. He'll get explained.
Because the general... Well, he told the general to go get Kylo Ren because the next part of his training's ready. Yeah. Whatever the fuck that means.
Well, it's because he killed his dad. He killed Han.
Again, whatever the fuck that means, because, again, Han didn't even have to die for him to complete his dark side. He could have did something else.
I still think...
Could have just lost to Rey, and that would have made him lose his mind because... Yeah, we could have had an open dynamic.
The rivalry Harrison Ford just didn't want to be...
What's his face?
To do it anymore.
Well, yeah, Harrison Ford,
That's honestly why I think he died. They chose to kill him off because he didn't want to do anymore.
And that's fair.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to say, no, Harrison, you have to stay in this movie.
You have to do...
You have to make up for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, you fuck. And you know that. And in fact, you don't even want to admit to that, and you don't want to admit to the one Christmas special that... The Star Wars you were in. John knows what I'm talking about. John, if you saw his
Light Day.
Yeah.
Yay. I'm glad to say that I've never seen that full thing.
Me neither.
I've only seen snippets. I don't know that I ever actually want to see it.
Maybe if I was really drunk.
Even as a Star Wars fan,
maybe if I was really drunk,
maybe.
I was with like a group of my friends and just someone whipped it out and put it on and said, let's watch this for shits, tits, and giggles.
Yeah.
I would.
Maybe.
But, yeah, I'd be really drunk. So we're probably going to wrap this up. I think we're getting close to almost everything. But if you want to, anything else, you should. Easter eggs? Anything?
No, just as kind of, to end on a positive note, I guess. I really liked... And actually, this sounds kind of fucked up because it's like right after Han dies. But I love when Chewie like gets pissed off and actually lands a hit on
Kylo Ren.
By
the way, Chewie's the first one.
Right in the fucking side.
Yeah, the kidney,
or the leg, or wherever.
It was like a kidney shot, I think. But
yeah, just fucking. That was awesome. It's
like no.
Yeah, I love Chewie. Chewie is one of my favorite.
Yeah, Chewie, obviously, to the fans, he stays whole. He's true.
Oh, yeah.
They did nothing to change him,
No.
but that was all. You didn't have to. He's Chewie.
Yeah.
Now,
what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say how you like Chewie. I loved just the look of the stormtroopers.
Oh yeah, they were awesome.
This is something I want to mention too because you told me this in the one shot when they were.
I'm not 100% sure.
I want someone to confirm this for us then.
Okay, so when
in the one shot, you can go ahead. And say this.
when they were firing the first shot of
destroy the planets
to destroy the Republic. When the general's screaming out his speech and he ends with and this is the last day of the Republic, and then everybody salutes, and then they all turn. In that scene, I was positive that I saw one stormtrooper that was wearing the original mask.
You know what that was too? I bet you there wasn't enough masks, so like they had to like go into the old
the storage locker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pull out this old
dust
antique.
off the old. Here you go, Frank.
So, another thing that I thought was kind of weird. I think this will be the last thing that we touch on. Was after Han dies, and they go back to the Elenium system. Other than them sitting sad in that war room. Like, there's no fucking recognition of Han's death.
Well, actually...
They don't do a memorial.
To be
fair,
don't do... You did kind of forget to mention that when...
I was going to get to that.
When Rey comes there,
yeah,
it's Rey and Leia. Okay, good. Yeah, they're the ones that they're off to the group are celebrating. You know, they're still sad.
But then after that, they're in the room and they're all sad, but, like... They don't have a memorial. They don't have like a funeral. They don't have.
Leia's not even in tears.
Yeah, they don't have his body or anything. But they still could have had some.
They couldn't have found that.
No, they could have had some.
They should have had a statue or some stone at that base because Luke.
Yeah.
At the end.
We're pretty sure.
I saw this when we.
We're pretty sure that's what it was.
It looked like a little.
It looks like a little tombstone.
It could either be for Han or maybe someone else we don't know about, which might be explained in the next movie.
But if it would make sense if it was Han,
because he would have sensed Han's death.
Exactly, because they were connected like that. Just the way that Leia sensed his death. As soon as he died, it cuts to her.
And she's like, oh, I just ate something bad.
So of course you would think that Luke would have felt something similar.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
a disturbance in the Force.
Yeah. So that little stone, and it is hard to see. Like the first few times that you go and watch it, I actually noticed it in the third one and didn't mention it. You were the one who mentioned it when we went and saw it last night. I noticed that the stone looked different than the other ones because it's like sticking out of the ground.
Sticking right up. And there was a bit of disturbed dirt.
Yeah.
Like he obviously just did something to make it look like a tombstone.
It would make sense that it was a tombstone for like a memorial
stone for Han,
or like you said, it could be someone
else that we don't even know yet. Yeah,
I mean, it could be for all we know, it could be for Kylo Ren, for Ben when he turned to the dark side, because they say that Luke felt responsible, and that's why he peaced. That's why he went into hiding. So, yeah.
All right,
Star Wars.
So
all in all,
a great flick.
A good movie.
Like, honestly, I would like to go see it again if anyone
I'll definitely be buying it when it comes out, because I have all of them.
Got added to the collection despite it not being as canon as it promised or even tried to be.
I am excited to see where the trilogy goes. I'm also, like you said, I'm excited to see what spin-offs come, like cartoons, because like the Attack of the Clones, I love that. Not the really weird CG one, but the one that aired
before
on
that.
Teletoon.
That was like Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Then Teletoon, I think.
Those are great. I'm excited to see what games. I've yet to play Battlefront, but that's something that I think
I baited Battlefront, and from what I gathered, it holds true to the fact that it's obviously a dice game. It plays like Battlefield 3 or 4.
But that's okay.
But you know what? You will be impressed with the sounds. Like, the game feels like you're in a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, which is what I want. That's going to be awesome.
But I love how we're going into a game review of this.
Another time.
Yeah.
Because I still haven't played it.
Yeah.
So this brings our first vlog to
a close.
An end.
Yeah. Give us your thoughts.
Probably go up later today. Today's what? January 9th? Yeah, January 9th. So it'll probably go up later today. And then probably sometime next week we're going to have our first Let's Play video up.
Well, what we're planning to do is that we're going to do other vlogs like this for movies, and I was thinking for even wrestling vlogs. Let us know, like, for anyone who watches this, like, what would you like us to do? Like, I mean, we got lots to work with. We want to do wrestling reviews. We want to review anime. We want to review video games. We want to do Let's Plays of video games and more vlogs.
We have a shit ton of video games here.
We have a lot.
So many.
We do have a lot. So, yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed.
Yeah.
Give us your thoughts in the comments section.
Give a like, subscribe.
Subscribe. And, you know...
We'll see you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. But we hope you guys enjoyed The Force Awakens as much as we did.
Absolutely.
In fact, we hope you enjoyed it more so, because it deserves to be enjoyed.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
For sure.
Don't be overcritical like we were for the last...
However long this was.
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
May the Force be with you.